What's cracking, baby? Welcome, brothers and sisters, to the Mainstream. Very special Meaning Stream, a very special Meaningwave Live presentation. This is Meaningwave Live. This show's gonna be called Heaven on Earth.
What is up? What is up, baby? How you doing? This is Akira The Don. It's your friendly neighborhood Wavelord. It's that Wavelord in charge, that self-appointed ruler of Mazlantis. The most beautiful place in the cosmos. If you were to ask for a description of heaven, if you were to look up heaven in the intergalactic dictionary Bible thing, it would just have a picture of the MAZ next to it, And you go, bloody hell, that's nice. I want to go there. Well, guess what, baby? You can go there. There is a place you can go. You can go there. Well, you're there now. You are there now, actually. You're there now if you're locked in across space or time. And time or time. One of them. Lordy, lordy, lordy B. Glory be. Welcome, brothers and sisters. Smash that like. Smash that like. Post that link in the Discord. Do your thing with the distribution of the meme, Play your part in the spreading of heaven on earth. Heaven on your earth. You're on earth, I think, right? You're an earth person. Well, spread heaven. It is within your power to do that in this lifetime. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And it starts with smashing that like and sharing that link. We're going in tonight with a special This is Meaningwave Live set, and in fact, the final of the series of Meaningwave Live sets. Yeah, that's right. That's what's up tonight. It's called Heaven on Earth. Whoa! Yeah. Shouts out if you're on the replay. Shouts out to you. If you're on the replay and you're on YouTube and you want to skip ahead to the set, just hit the timestamp in the description or the top pinned comment. YouTube Hero Alex will have left that for you in the future. Yeah, and that's nice. But if you like preamble, then stick around. Some people's favorite part of the show is the preamble. Some people say, Akira The Don, I wish the whole show was just preamble. I wish you could do the international high five 17 times and just do that. And I say, well, maybe one day, baby, dream big. You never know what you could find. Whoa! How's everyone doing? What up, Romper Jumper? Says I like it live. Whoa. Who doesn't? Some people like it live, some people like it pre-recorded, you know? Some people got that king. Running away. Running from home. Smash that like. What are you doing? Hey. I wish you could see my legs. I wish you could see my legs. I got my velvet Meaningwave Lo-Fi Christmas trousers on. They're so good. They're so beautiful and so comfy. It's insane. It's kind of impossible for people to see because they just merge with the background. It's something weird. It's like a kind of crazy camouflage. But best believe, baby, they're the coziest things I've ever seen in my life. I've ever worn in my life. I've got to make sure I've got a pair of these for every day of the week. Charlotte said to me, Akira The Don, she said, you look like you're dressed for setting up on the sofa to play video games for the next month. I said, it's funny you should mention that. Because there's a video game coming out in 2 days that I've actually been kind of looking forward to. I haven't looked forward to a video game since Red Dead Redemption a couple years ago. But I have been looking forward in a kind of like, I don't know. I mean, I don't understand. I don't really see how I'll be able to make any room in my life to play this video game. But it's kind of like, it's like the video game I've always wanted to exist, right? If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's a video game called Cyberpunk 2077. You know, and it's kind of like, how would you describe it? I mean, I haven't played it, so I could have got this wrong, but the gist I get from the description is kind of like Grand Theft Auto in a cyberpunk future. Am I getting that wrong? Because that's the vibes I get, and that's kind of like the dream game. Either that or Grand Theft Auto in medieval Europe. Both of those are good. Or Grand Theft Auto in Middle Earth. You know, Grand Theft Auto in cool places. That's what I'm all about, frankly. That's why Red Dead Redemption was so cool for me. It was like Grand Theft Auto with a horse. It was like, holy shit, sign me up. And I think Red Dead might have actually been better than Grand Theft Auto, you know? Certainly as a new generation game or current generation game, it was much better than the Grand Theft Auto of this generation, in my humble opinion. In my humble opinion. And anyway, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Can Akira The Don find a way to be able to play Cyberpunk 2077 without it affecting his schedule? You know, because we do have a schedule. We have a lot of streams to do, a lot of albums to make, a lot of waves to regulate, vibes to regulate, all that. Some people say, they say playing video games is a waste of time. You'll want that life back on your deathbed. I say, well, if you're playing average-ass video games like Assassin's Creed, shots fired. I mean, like, not hating. No, but I mean, like, if you're playing, like, 6s or 7s, but there's certain masterpieces. Like, I will not regret playing Vice City. I'll regret watching The Walking Dead, but I won't regret playing Vice City. That was a wonderful experience. I think of that as fondly as I think of certain mountain ranges. I used to climb mountains, baby. And I climbed some dope-ass mountains, and also I played Vice City, and that shit was fire. That was like the marvel of human ingenuity. Shit. Be the hero. Anyway, shouts out to everybody locked in. What's yours saying? Are any of you going to be playing Cyberpunk 77? Do you think video games are a complete waste of life? What's your favorite video game experience ever? Was there one that you're glad you did? Hey, why not answer this question as part of the International High Five? Why not do that? Let me know where you are and let me know how you feel about these subjects. In the chat, if you're locked in live, and if you're not locked in live, why don't you beam it into my mind with your superpowers that you have, and maybe you know how to use them and maybe you don't, but you got them. Everybody got them. Ooh, ooh, ooh. There is no spoon. Back in the day. Oh, and if anyone wants to tell me what's in Antarctica, you can do that too. Whoa. Zach says you'll regret not playing DuckTales. Woohoo. Best theme song of a cartoon ever? Certainly up there, right? DuckTales, a woohoo. What an incredible song. Who wrote that? What genius. That's very good. The X-Men, that X-Men cartoon for the 90s, that had an incredible theme song. Why are we suddenly talking about that? Why? Fool Killer says Rockstar always brings their A+++ game for the Red Dead series even more than GTA Syndicate at least. I don't think Rockstar have ever quite beaten what they pulled off with San Andreas, frankly, but Red Dead is incredible. I never had a video game make me cry before, Ooh. Yeah, D-Man says Cyberpunk looks epic, dystopian, futuristic, Grand Theft Auto. Yeah. Right? Now, and I'm so torn because, I've been saying, I was like, come on, all this dystopia, and they're all coming true. Come on, let's dream a better world. And then video game dystopia comes along that basically pulls together all of those 70s, 80s, 90s nightmare visions of a near future and puts them in a video game that a billion people are going to play and wish that upon the world, Could Rockstar secretly behind the scenes make a kind of Star Trek Next Generation open world cross-platform multiplayer online experience that dreams a beautiful dream of a us that have transcended the boring stupid shit that plagues us and are out there doing epic things, Could we get that too, just for balance? Because shit, be careful what you wish for. Hold that, baby. Let's see what my people are saying. Yo. D-Man says maybe with the new Vice City GTA. Is that confirmed or is that just a rumor still? The rumor has been for a while, right, that the next GTA will be set in Miami, but will also be huge and will connect to the other cities, and it'll have Vegas in it and the Everglades and shit, right? I know. 2076 says they stole the idea from my book and changed it 1 year. Who did? Well, Cyberpunk 77. Where did they read your book? Golan Didier, Zelda Breath of the Wild, Montreal. I never played that. Isn't that weird? And I was thinking about playing it recently. I was like, maybe I should play that. Then I remembered Cyberpunk 77 was coming out, and I thought, oh shit. Romper Jumper Star Citizen. I lost my chat, went wrong again. Oh, I missed a bunch. Yo! 2076 says, hey Akira, I'm communicating with you across time and space from another dimension, a dimension I've lovingly called a shadow realm. That's loving. Okay, good. Romper Chomper says my favorite game was Darkfall. Cindy Bailey says I love Breath of the Wild. Bob L. Fishman, Harvest Moon 64 was my favorite game ever, so wholesome. You run a farm, make friends, and wed a woman. That's nice. That sounds useful. Honey Badger TV, Majora's Mask. Fool Killer, Maryland, my favorite video game I ever played was Red Dead 1, still working on 2. Yeah, 1 was incredible. 2 is incredible too. I really like it when you build a house. That's so cool. Calais, Korea checked in. There are only 2 video games I fully endorse and recommend people play. Portal 2 and Undertale. What about the Undertale sequel? What are your thoughts on that? Hercules was showing me that the other day. We went through the first bit. Someone was mean to us in a school. And then we fell through a portal or some shit. We fell through the floor. It was pretty weird, baby. Yeah. Anyway, Vitor. I'm from Brazil. Playing games isn't a waste of time. My old favorite is God of War 4. When did that one come out? Is that the most recent one? I'm dreaming of raising a child. I can't in the moment, but it is my dream. Yeah, that's a great dream, baby. And, it's a great dream, and I believe it will come true for you. You will raise a wonderful child, and you will play video games together, and that's a lovely thing to do. It's very joyful. It's a joyful thing to play a game with your child. And, playing games is a very good thing to do. It is a good thing to do, playing games. Your boy Naval, what did he say? He's like, he never read a book on game theory, but he's amazing at game theory, and that's because he played a lot of games. A lot of games, and you work out the rules of games through playing games, and game theory, that's life, innit, baby? Shit. Word XP, Toronto, Canada. I agree with you, as a quality video game, then as a quality experience. However, I will say, I feel like single-player games that end are safer than the endless multiplayer games. Well, the endless multiplayer games, are there any that are quality? Because Red Dead Online is trash. Well, no, that's a bit harsh. That's harsh. But Red Dead Online is nothing. It's not a patch on the real game, is it? And it's not even the same thing. It's not even the same ballpark. I've never known of a quality, never-ending online game. Unless maybe you think of Minecraft. I mean, I was never a Minecraft guy myself, but I know my son loves it, and he's loved it for many years. Him and his homies, his Canadian homies. Mikhail, I used to play 1 or 2 Final Fantasy video games. Cyclops, Utah. Tim Pool reporting that aliens exist per Israeli and Canadian officials. Yes, that was part of the script for 2020, wasn't it? But we have had this info for a while. Isn't it strange how it feels like such a anticlimax now? It's strange. Why would that be? And at this point of 2020, why are they doing that? What are they up to? Why are they doing that? What are they doing? What are they doing with these monoliths? What's all that about? Why are they invoking the monolith idea? What's up with that? What's up with invoking the monolith idea? What does the monolith idea bring to mind? I think the monkey with the bone and the smash. What's up with that? What's going on there? What are they up to? What are they up to? These cheap conjurers, these amusement park bandits, these cheap carnival people. What are they up to? Murfire stuff, Castlevania. Isn't it? I mean, Castlevania, just the word evokes such glory, Such glory. Bob L. Fishman says all those 90s theme songs were lit as fuck. Yes, they were. Cindy Bailey says I have a golden Zelda cartridge label on canvas hanging in my living room. Nice. Richard Young, Chicago. Important question. This morning, a dozen ravens gathered outside my window and they woke me up. They hung about all day, only left once the sun set. a good omen or a bad omen. Well, obviously it's a good omen, isn't it? It's a wonderful omen. That's a magnificent omen. You know? What do you call a bunch of ravens? What is it? It's a murder of crows. What is it? A fucking shit ton of ravens. A bloody lot of ravens. Ravens are cool, baby. That's a good sign. Ravens are smart, you know? They're smart, they're noble, they're epic. You know, shouts out to the raven. Nevermore. Yes. The Defy Bay Area Stargate in Antarctica. Saints Row 4 was awesome. What a great sentence that is, you know? What a great sentence that is. Yes, indeed. Antarctica. Indeed. Saints Row 4. Wasn't that the one where you were like really OP? I liked Saints Row 2. I liked throwing garbage cans at people. And then they cut that out. That was the best part of the whole game. Calais. I never played Zelda or Majora's Mask, but those are fantastic stories. So much Celtic influence. It's practically just copy pasta Irish folklore. Monpayan had a great explanation. Shouts out to Irish folklore coffee pasta. Yo, a conspiracy of ravens, says Calais. That's a good point. MC Chubby says crows are cool too. Yeah, but don't crows like steal your eyes? You know? Or did I just read that somewhere? There was something. I remember crows stealing motherfuckers' eyes. War of the Worlds, that was it. They were pecking out the Martians' eyes. Oh yeah, shouts out to crows. Good for them. All right, boom. Let's get it. International high five. It's deserved and noble. A deserved and noble endeavor, the international high five. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, there you go. Hold it, and be happy. Hold it and be glad. Feel good? Looks good too. Shouts out to Fisher Spooner. Wait, alright, we're about to go in with this epic set. Smash that like a bit more. I don't know why they're not sending out notifications today. Maybe it's because I didn't schedule the stream till 20 minutes before it started. I got completely confused. My normal regime is I scheduled the stream at 4, but I had a meeting with young Twitch hero Alex. So I didn't do what I normally did at a certain time, and then I was like 7:15. I was like, wait a minute, it's 27. I haven't scheduled the stream. It's weird when you get your systems disrupted, you know. I have such systems in place. Speaking of meeting with heroic Alex, one thing we've decided we're going to do is we're going to start using the second channel for clips. You know, we had been uploading the morning streams up there, but YouTube doesn't like it, and most of them get blocked because they've got copyright, so we're going to stop doing that. And we uploaded a clip video this morning, and people liked it, you know? It was a video of me going off on a righteous tangent about the death of Hollywood. People like that video very much. So what we're going to need... Walking Mold Post says Akira is being snapped. I'm not being snapped, I'm integrating with the cosmos to get the energies to give you the really awesome set that you deserve. Don't worry. So yeah, we're gonna be putting clips and shit on the second channel. So we need help with the clipping, you know, because YouTube hero Alex has got a lot to do, you know, making sure people aren't being unwavy in the chat. So we need people to help with the clipping. So if you'd like to help with the clipping, please let it be known, and holler at Alex in the Discord and say, hey, you want to help with clipping, you know? And it could be just as simple as giving timestamps and just saying, you know, at that point to that point, Akira did something cool, something to clip. You know, just something you think that anything that happens that should be clipped. Maybe a cool transition, maybe a good story, maybe a particularly energetic performance of a song, maybe some cool shit that happened in the chat. You know, so we need help with the clipping. So if you want to help with the clipping, if you want to be an official, you know, an official Meaningwave Task Force clipper, pum, holler at Twitch hero, Discord hero, YouTube hero Alex, and we'll get it cracking, baby. And shouts out to the helpers, you know. We built this city on righteousness. Yeah. Bob L. Fishman says that Pink Floyd was lit as hell. Yeah, it's weird that we haven't, you know, it's kind of been on my list to do as an official remix, but clipping a live performance of that and having that would be a good thing. That is a good point. See, this is where it's great. Great minds, you know, all the brilliant minds of the Meaningwave Autonomous Zone. You know? What up, Calais? Says the mouse has been dead since Aladdin. Nothing they've done since has stood the test of time. Even Aladdin is right on the edge of survivability in terms of story. Doesn't mean I don't like it, of course. Do you know, I think you're completely right. But Aladdin, I think it was before that, because Aladdin, I wouldn't watch that or show that to my kid. But the video game was good. The character designs were good. The video game was good. The film itself was just on the edge, you know. But you're right, that was the period. There was the period when the mouse got the louse, you know. The mouse got lousy, you know. The mouse got the disease. Yo. Kyle Sensenix is Meaningwave Autonomous Zone. Cracks me up. You know, we're here to provide, brevity. You know, everyone else is out there trying to make everybody freak out all the time. We're trying to make you freak in. Ooh! You know what I mean? We bring joy, we bring levity, we bring vibes, we bring righteousness. Oh yeah, we bring harsh news. Just as I'm on here, like, swagging out in my Lo-Fi Christmas gear. Can't get it anymore. It's done. You can't get your Lo-Fi Christmas gear now, I'm afraid, because it won't necessarily get there in time for Christmas now. We're at that point where you couldn't confirm if it would arrive or wouldn't. So it's taken down from the shop because we don't want people to be disappointed. So if you want Meaningwave Christmas gear, you'll have to wait till next year now if you didn't get it already. God bless. Ooh. Yeah. Well, we're about to go in with an epic set. Shouts out to everyone locked in live. If there's anything you want to get off your chest or have your friendly neighborhood Don address right now, before we get into the zone of playing Righteous Meaningwave. Red King says need Meaningwave New Year's gear instead. That's coming up next week. That's coming next week. Actually, it might be the week after that it drops. Yeah. Should be the 15th, I think. Hey, this week the Meaningwave Masterpieces instrumentals are coming out. And next week, the What's Wave How to Be a Better Person instrumentals are coming out. For you guys that love instrumentals and have been asking me where the instrumentals are. Yeah. Defy says next year, Ital Galactic Federation Velvet Pants. Yo. Kyle says, yo, Don, you pronounced my last name correctly. You're in the 99th percentile of everyone who's ever attempted it. And now I'm not going to attempt to do it again in case I get it wrong the second time. Yo. What's up with Bob L. Fishman? Says, sorry I took the good jokes the wrong way last night. I thought you were getting trolled. I did not understand what was going on. That's my bad. I do not understand to what you refer. Oh, what when people say bad thing happened good? People say that a lot around here. Balls sprouted wings and flew away. Good. Get to wear smaller pants. DEFCON 25 Blades, welcome to Level 1. That's your welcome to Level 1 noise. Go to the community tab on YouTube and download the Ghibli Beats mix that went up the other day. A new mix for our members. God bless each and every one of you. Whoa! Smash that like. There's a bunch of you here who've not yet smashed that like, and you're a disgrace to the ancestors, by Jove. How could you? D-Lars says, are you going to release more ATD clips? You have totally some clip-worthy moments on these streams. Hey, D-Lars, you must have missed the bit where we just talked about that. But you make a good point. So we'd like people to help with clips. We want people to help with clipping. We want people to say, hey, this bit here is a really good bit to clip. Could you clip this? And whilst going forward, we would love you to help with that and love you to be vigilant and notice when cool things to clip happen. If there's bits from previous streams which you think are really, really epic and stand the test of time, aren't just things that would be useful that week, let us know about those too. And if you want to help with the clipping, if you want to become a member of the Meaningwave Autonomous Zone Clip Task Force, the Clip Task Force, the Clipper Nation, we'll come up with a cool name for it, then please do holler at YouTube Hero Alex, Discord Hero Alex, or any of the other Alexes in the Discord, the link for which is in the description of this broadcast. And with that being said, brothers and sisters, make some noise. This is Meaningwave Live.
Heaven on earth.
It's for the heroes.
Many of you, I'm sure, have heard the saying that mythology is other people's religions. Now I'm going to ask you to put yourself in other people's shoes and have a look at your own as mythology. As mythology.
Hey!
What is this mystery that makes the human species bow before some sign of mystery? What is this mystery that makes the human species bow before some sign of mystery? Nietzsche has said, this is the age of comparison. It works on all levels. And in the realm of what I'm calling mythology, which many people call religions, there are cross-influences operating today that would have been thought impossible 100 years ago. Furthermore, it's good to recall, to remember, that our cultures and our races are very, very late arrivals in the history of the human species. And we already have very interesting evidence of religious or mythological practices in races long antedating ours. For instance, in the high Alps that were discovered in the 20s in very small caves right below the ice level of the glaciers, little shrines containing the skulls of cave bears. Now, during the course of the last glaciation, the Würm glacial period, those caves were covered with ice. No one could have gone there. And after the time of that glaciation, there were no cave bears in the world. So these little shrines with these cave bear skulls and little fires and little instruments of showing that there had been worship practiced there date from 200,000 years ago. 200,000 years ago.
Whoa!
What is this mystery that makes the human species bow before some sign of mystery? This mystery that makes the human species bow before some sign of mystery. What is this mystery? What is this mystery? Each of us has been brought up in some tradition that has its imagery of that mystery. But the point I want to start out with is that in the human heart and in the human mind, no matter what the race, the culture, the language, the tradition, there is this sense, or at least the possibility of experiencing the sense of a mystery, and an awesome mystery, and a very terrifying mystery, inhabiting the whole universe. The very mystery being itself. And here in these very early little times, these very early shrines, we have the evidence of man 200,000 years ago bowing and asking for something and devoting themselves to something in this way of religion which we continue to know in this aspect, that inflection, and that other throughout the world today. What is this mystery that makes the human species bow before some sign of mystery? What is this mystery that makes the human species bow before some sign of mystery? What is this mystery that makes the human species bow before some sign of mystery? What is this mystery that makes the human species bow before some sign of mystery? What is this mystery?
Meaningwave, let's have a start!
What is this mystery?
Mazlansis, make some noise! All them hieroglyphs in the chat right now for Joseph Campbell. This from the album Songs of Mythology. Go into your imagination.
Go into your imagination.
Go into your imagination.
Go into your imagination.
I was at the Museum of Art in New York. I was in this amazing room, you know, it had all these priceless paintings from the late Renaissance hanging in it. Each painting worth, who knows, $1 billion maybe. They're priceless paintings. So the room it's a shrine, and it was full of people from all over the world who were looking at these paintings. You think, well, what the hell are these people doing coming to this room looking at these paintings? What are they up to? What are they doing? They don't know what that means. Like, why are they looking at that painting? Why is it in this room? Why does it cost $1 billion? Why is that painting worth so much? And the answer to that is, well, we don't really know. They're sacred objects in some sense. We gaze at them in ignorance and wonder. And the reason for that is that the unknown shines through the maddest and in partially articulated form. Well, that's the role of art. And that's the role of artists. Well, that's the role of art. And that's the role of artists. Real artists are contending with the unknown, right? And they're possessed by it. They have a personality trait, openness, that makes them do that. They can't even help it. Makes them do that. They can't even help it. The worst thing for creative people is to not be creative because they just die. So one of the things I would say is buy a damn piece of art, you know? Find one that really speaks to you and look out if you do it. If it's a real piece of art, because you'll also get a little introduction to the artist, and then that'll seep into your life. And that'll change things like mad. But it's unbelievably worth it because it opens your eyes to the domain of the transcendent. That's the right way of thinking about it. A real piece of art is a window into the transcendent. That's what it is in the absence of the sublime. You can see that integral to our culture is the idea that beauty is one pathway towards God. And if you can't find another pathway, then why don't you use beauty? I'm sure most of you do that with music. Because music is the one thing that modern people can't be cynical about. Thank God for that. And so we need to understand the role of art and literature and stop thinking about it as an option. It's not an option. It's not an option. What has it said? Man does not live by bread alone. That's exactly right. We live by beauty. We live by literature. We live by art. And literally, not metaphorically. We cannot live without it because life is too dismal and tragic. Well, that's the role of art. And that's the role of artists. Well, that's the role of art. And that's the role of artists. Real artists are contending with the unknown, right? And they're possessed by it. They have a personality trait, openness, that makes them do that. They can't even help it. Makes them do that. They can't even help it.
Find these programs that we're developing useful and practical, and that they help you put yourselves together and lead productive and meaningful and high quality lives with the least amount of tragedy and suffering possible. That would be really good.
What up, dope? Yo, make some noise. He's back.
All of the high cultures and low cultures and primitive cultures and charming, simple cultures, great, big, enormous ones, have grown out of myths. They are founded on myths. And what these myths have given has been inspiration for aspiration. Now, where do these aspirations come from? They come from a very wonderful, childlike thing, fascination. You know, if you wanted to make money today, I'm no economist, but I'll bet the thing to do would be to invest your money in something like cameras, things that people play with, things that they're fascinated by. These fascinations are the creations of new activities. And when we look at the old cultures, we can see
What?
all cultures have grown out of myth.
I said all
Cultures, they are founded on myth. And what these myths have given has been inspiration for aspiration. And some of it is very strange to see indeed. What is most fascinating to begin with is one's neighbor, particularly if the neighbor is a very strange-looking creature. Now think of man in the old days. He was a minority on the planet. And when he looked at his neighbors, they had 4 feet, they had horns, they had great woolly bodies. They were very strange playmates. Furthermore, he was eating certain of them, and they were rather dangerous. He had to arrange some kind of arrangement with his neighbor. And we know that the first religious rites and the first religious address, so to say, to animals, their neighbors, these were the images of God. All cultures have grown out of myth.
I said all
Cultures, they are founded on myth. And what these myths have given has been inspiration for aspiration.
Aspiration.
The animal world was the first.
Yo, what up, Red King? Appreciate you, baby.
And the divinities were animal divinities. And not only that, but just as kids, when they identify with something, when they are fascinated by something, they act like it, they play it. So, the original rituals, the hunting people danced buffalo dance. They were in covenant with the animal world. That through this covenant, the animals gave their bodies willingly to be eaten. Because only the body dies, the being comes back. If you return the blood of the animal to the earth, the life is in the blood. The earth is the mother of life, and the animal will be back next year. All cultures have grown out of myth.
I said all
Cultures, they are founded on myth, and what these myths have given has been inspiration for aspiration.
aspiration. Yeah.
People who lived then in the plant world, the world of the tropics, where nature was a plant world, they saw something else. They saw that out of rot, out of decay, there comes life. There comes life. And this notion that out of death comes life becomes a very important thing in the tropical cultures. And it led to what us is a very powerful pattern of rituals. Rituals of human sacrifice, killing people, letting them rot, burying them, with the notion that out of this death there would come life. All cultures have grown out of myth.
I said all
Cultures, they are founded on myth, and what these myths have given has been inspiration for aspiration.
aspiration. Oh, cultures have grown out of myth. I said oh, cultures
they
are
are
grounded on myth, and what these myths have given has been inspiration for aspiration. Aspiration. Now, what I know. Songs of Mythology, Joseph Campbell. It exists. Oh, what a banger. What a banger. What up, D-Man? D-Man's looking forward to that aesthetic fun hoodie and pants. Oh my goodness, baby, just you wait. Me too, baby. What up, Red King? Appreciate the support, baby. I wonder. What you would do. Anyway, more son of a son, make some noise for yourself. Woo!
I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted to. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted to. And you would, of course, be able to alter your time sense.
Time sense.
And slip, say, 75 years of subjective time into 8 hours of sleep. You would, I suppose, start out by fulfilling all your wishes. You could design yourself what would be the most ecstatic life. Love affairs, banquets, dancing girls, wonderful journeys, love affairs, banquets, dancing girls, wonderful journeys, gardens, music beyond belief. Music beyond belief. Music beyond belief. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted to. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted to. 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 I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted to. And then after a couple of months of this sort of thing at 75 years a night, you'll be getting a little taste for something different.
you would move over to an adventurous dimension where there were certain dangers involved and the thrill of dealing with dangers. And you could rescue princesses from dragons and go on dangerous journeys, make wonderful explosions and blow them up. Eventually get into contests with enemies. And after you've done that for some time, you'll think up a new wrinkle to forget that you were dreaming, so that you would think it was all for real, and to be anxious about it, because it'd be so great when you woke up. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. And then you say, well, like children who dare each other on things, how far out could you get? What could you take? What dimension of being lost, of abandonment of your power, what dimension of that could you stand? You could ask yourself this, because you know you'd eventually wake up. After you'd gone on doing this, you see, for some time, you would suddenly find yourself sitting around in this room with all your personal involvement, problems, etc., talking with me. How do you know that's not what you're doing? Could be. Because after all, what would you do if you were God? I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted.
God, what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted to. What you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted to. 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 I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream. What would you do if you were God? 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 What would you do if you were God?
Genie is the root word for genius. And it's a really interesting idea because there's this unlimited power that's associated with genius, but it's constrained. And that's really what the human spirit is like, because it has this aspect of the infinite, and it is something that can grant wishes, but it's also constrained terribly. I don't ask God for favors or for wishes. Or for wishes. You know, I don't ask God for favors or for wishes. Or for wishes. You know, we're constrained mortally and physically and all that, but the thing is that both the infinite possibility and the constraint are necessary. Right? That's what makes up the genie. It has to be both at the same time. And the idea that if you find your genie, you can have your wishes. It's right. You have to really want what you're wishing for. Right? You have to make the proper sacrifices to get it. It can't be just some whim. You have to ask for something that you would rather not have, which is usually wisdom. Somebody asked me about prayer. They asked me if I prayed, and I thought, well, it depends on what you mean by that. Exactly. I don't ask God for favors or for wishes or for wishes. I don't ask God for favors or for wishes or for wishes. I do think that if you sit on the edge of your bed and you ask what foolish thing you're doing to make it worse, that you'll get an answer right now. And it won't be the one you want, but it might be the one that if you listen to would set things straight. I don't think that I've ever been in a situation where if something wasn't going right for me and I sat and thought, okay, I'm willing to figure out what I'm doing wrong, which is a big thing to think because you never know how much you're doing wrong. It might be something that you really don't want to contend with. But if you clear some space to meditate on that, probability that you'll figure out something that you did that was stupid, that's bending you and twisting you in the wind, you'll get an answer very, very rapidly. I don't ask God for favors or for wishes or for wishes. I don't ask God for favors or for wishes or for wishes. And it's not obvious how you do that. It's not like you know how you're manipulating your neurons or something. It happens of its own accord in some sense, like you can participate in it, I guess, and you can interfere with it, and it seems to take a certain amount of willpower, but it still all happens mysteriously behind the scenes. And I would say this sort of attitude towards, let's say, prayer that we're discussing is just an extension of that. It's something like, well, you admit that there's a problem first, and then you ask for the minimum necessary intervention, which would be, all right, well, I'd like to move forward on this, some small amount that someone like me could actually manage. I'd be willing to carry it out. And then you reorient the way you're thinking as a consequence of that, and something usually pops out of the abyss to guide you. Very strange, but it's not really any stranger than the fact that we can think at all. Because the fact that we can think is actually very strange. Strange like the fact that we can dream is strange. And that's strange beyond belief that you can dream. Or that something in you dreams. Which is a much better way of thinking about it, because it's not like you're really in control of your dreams.
Ask God for favors, of your wishes, of your wishes. I don't ask God for favors, of your wishes, of your wishes. I don't ask God for favors, of your wishes, of your wishes. What up, dog? Meaningwave, what's on my zone? Make some noise. Make some noise for the good doctor. The good doctor. Jibba. God bless. Who's excited for that new JBP Wave album coming in January? Who's excited for that 2021 kickoff? That righteousness. Boom! Boom! Yo, who here believes in Santa Claus? Who here knows the truth about Santa Claus? Mike Besses, what's cracking, baby? Appreciate the support. Appreciate the support. And you know the truth about Santa Claus. And if you don't know the truth about Santa Claus, you're about to find out, baby, because we got the info. We got the exclusive. Exclusive Santa.
One of the arguments we hear coming from the new type of atheist. When I was a child, I believed in Santa Claus. When I was a child, I believed in the Tooth Fairy. But then one day I grew up and I realized that Santa Claus doesn't exist. I realized that the Tooth Fairy doesn't exist. And in the same manner, one day I grew up and I realized that God doesn't exist. I've always found that line of argumentation rather funny because to me it seems completely absurd to say Santa Claus doesn't exist because obviously Santa Claus exists.
What?
There are Santa Clauses everywhere at Christmas. There are guys who dress up as Santa Claus. There are Santa Claus decoration, ornaments. We have stories. We have songs. We have all these things which celebrate Santa Claus. It is patently absurd to say that Santa Claus does not exist.
Obviously, Santa Claus exists. Whoa! Obviously, Santa Claus exists. Whoa! Obviously, Santa Claus exists. Obviously, Santa Claus exists. Yeah!
There are certain things that don't exist. For example, a square circle or dry water. Now, those things are impossible. They do not exist. But Santa Claus definitely exists. The question we need to ask is, in what manner does Santa Claus exist? And I think that asking oneself that question of how it is that Santa Claus exists can maybe help certain people understand the manner in which we say that God exists. There are things that exist that are not at the level of my coffee cup. There are things which exist at different levels of being. Obviously, Santa Claus exists. And you can say that about concepts. Love exists, but you can't. Obviously, Santa Claus exists. You can't put it in a bottle. You can't put it in a box, but it still exists. Obviously, Santa Claus exists. In a much more immediate manner than something like love. Obviously, Santa Claus exists. We know what Santa Claus looks like, what his purpose is. Ow. Now, the thing is that what people tend to struggle with is to understand that beings are not obvious. It's not that obvious how to contain a being. So you, for example, you have parts. Have hands and fingers, eyes, you have hair, you have all these different parts. And there is something, your being, your personhood, which holds all those things together. Now, Santa Claus is the same thing, but his body is just not as contained as your body. It is actually a lot bigger than your body. Parts of Santa Claus are the images of Santa Claus that we see in movies, that we see in stories, just like your picture, which appears online. Obviously, Santa Claus exists. Your picture that's in your telephone or in some family album. Obviously, Santa Claus exists. Is an extension of you. Obviously, Santa Claus exists. When people see the picture, they recognize you and they come into contact with Santa Claus exists. So too, Santa Claus has parts. When a guy dresses up as Santa Claus in your mall, he is manifesting Santa Claus. He is a part of Santa Claus to the extent that he's participating in the being of Santa Claus at that moment. If a child goes to the mall, they sit on Santa Claus's lap, and then they speak to Santa Claus. What would you like for Christmas? The child will answer what they want for Christmas. And Santa Claus will find some story about how, you're going to try to get that child his gift for Christmas. So the child is speaking to Santa Claus. And that's really important to understand. The child is not speaking to Joe under the costume who put on the fake beard. She isn't speaking to him. Obviously, Santa Claus exists. She's speaking to Santa Claus.
Obviously, Santa Claus exists.
And it also isn't Joe that is answering. Obviously, Santa Claus exists. It's Santa Claus that is answering.
Obviously, Santa Claus exists.
It is obvious that Santa Claus exists.
Duh.
If Joe starts to tell the child something else, the child will no longer recognize Santa Claus. Joe will cease to be a body part of Santa Claus. Now, you can write a letter to Santa Claus, put it in the mail, send it to Santa Claus, and you know what? Santa Claus is going to answer. And it isn't Martha sitting in the post office, typing out the letter. She's not the one who's actually answering. She is manifesting Santa Claus. The same thing you're doing to Santa Claus, I can do to you. When you answer my question, I can say, well, it's not you that is answering my question, right? It's your mouth that's answering my question. But is that true? Is it your mouth that's answering the question? No. Your mouth is the tool by which you are answering the question. Obviously, Santa Claus exists. The disguised Santa Clauses are the tool by which obviously Santa Claus exists. Santa Claus manifests himself in the world.
Obviously, Meaningwave exists.
Santa Claus is a being that's pretty coherent. Obviously,
Meaningwave exists.
He has a way of speaking. You can engage with Santa Claus and Santa Claus will answer.
Whoa.
This is not just imaginary because you are not that contained as you think. You as a person, you can be possessed by all these different ideas. You can be influenced by all these external influences. And even in your mind, you are not as centered as you think. You have all these different kind of crazy personalities that can pull you in different directions. So why do you think that you as a person exists? Right? There is something. There is a total way in which those elements are pulled together into a consistent being. If it wasn't so, we'd say you're schizophrenic or we'd say you're crazy. If you're not crazy, there's something pulling those elements together. So that when I ask you something, you answer me, I recognize you in that answer. Obviously, Santa Claus exists. Obviously, Santa Claus exists.
Hey.
Obviously,
Meaningwave
exists.
Make some noise for Jonathan Pageau, Santa, and Meaningwave. That's Santa, and this is God. Obviously.
So there's a line in the New Testament where Christ says that no one comes to the Father except through him, which is a hell of a thing for anyone to say. I am the way and the truth and the life. That's another one. Here's the idea. It's as if there's a spirit at the bottom of things that is involved in the bringing to being of everything. People talk about evolution as a random process, but that's not true. The mutations are random, but the selection mechanisms are not random. What are the selection mechanisms? Human females are very sexually selective. That's why you have twice as many female ancestors as male ancestors. So the male failure rate for reproduction is twice that of the female. How is it that males succeed differentially? Females reject. They reject on the basis of what? And the answer is, well, it's something like competence. How is competence defined? Well, men put themselves in hierarchies and they vote on each other's competence. Let's say you decide to follow the best leader in a battle. Well, then you don't die. Like, he might get all the women, but you don't die, so at least you're still in the game. And it might be the same if you're following the greatest hunter. And the greatest hunter wouldn't be the person who was best at bringing down the game. It would be the person who was best at bringing down the game and sharing it and organizing the next hunt and all of that.
What that means to some degree is that there's a spirit of masculinity shaping the entire structure of human evolutionary history. That's what that means. It's the spirit of positive masculinity that manifests itself across epochal ages, millions of years perhaps. And it actually has shaped our consciousness. Actually. It's like the essential spirit of all the great men who defined what greatness constituted. That's a spirit. Well, that's a purely biological explanation.
Well, that's God.
God is the highest value in the hierarchy of values.
That's God.
God is how we imaginatively and collectively represent the existence and action of consciousness across time.
That's God.
God is that which selects among men in the eternal hierarchy of men.
That's God.
God is that which eternally dies and is reborn in the pursuit of higher being and truth.
But then there's another possibility too, which is that that's actually reflective of a deeper metaphysical reality that has to do with the nature of consciousness itself. I think that's true. I believe the biological case, and I believe the biologically reductive case, but I don't think that exhausts it. There's a metaphysical layer underneath that the biology is a genuine reflection of. And that's the macrocosm above and the microcosm below. We are really reflective, including in our consciousness, of something about the structure of reality itself. And that might involve whatever it is that God is. Well, that's God.
God is the future to which we make sacrifices.
That's God.
God is the voice of conscience.
That's God.
God is the source of judgment and mercy and guilt.
That's God.
God is what calls and what responds in the eternal call to adventure.
God. That's God. That's God. That's God.
Upon the universe as an organism, as we shall subsequently see. But the dramatic idea is basic to Hinduism. Now you can speak about Hinduism on two levels at least. One I will call the metaphysical level, and the other the mythological level. If you speak on the metaphysical level, you can speak only in negative language. You can say what the divine, the ultimate reality is not. If you speak on the mythological level, you may speak of what the divine is like. Because myth is not a falsehood, as one uses the word in a sophisticated way. A myth is an image, a concrete image, in terms of which man makes sense of the world. Which man makes sense of the world. Thus the idea of God the Father, or God the Maker, is a myth. Because it's an image. Because it's an image. And Christian theologians distinguish equally between two kinds of theological language, which are respectively called cataphatic and apophatic. Apophatic language is negative. as when we say God is infinite and eternal. Cataphatic language is mythological, as when we say God the Father, God is love, and all the positive designations. We are not saying God is a cosmic male parent, but is analogous with the Father. We are not saying God is a cosmic male parent, but is analogous with the Father. We are not saying God is a cosmic male parent, but is analogous with the Father. So with Hinduism. So with Hinduism. What I'm going to speak to you in, first of all, is the mythological language of Hinduism. The idea of the universe as the big act. The universe is God playing hide and seek with himself. For God is thought of fundamentally to the Hindu as the self. The self. The cosmic I.
Akira.
One of the things I tend to do is to look at symbolic representations through the lens of evolutionary biology, rather than assuming that these representations are mere superstitions or play no functions. Like we have the idea that there's a deity that's father-like. So it's a disembodied spirit in some sense that's eternal, that has eternal characteristics. It's like, okay, well, strip it of its metaphysics, if you strip it of its metaphysics, and just look at it as a biological phenomena. It's like, well, what might the idea that there's an eternal spirit of the Father, spirit of the Father, there's an eternal spirit of the Father, spirit of the Father, there's an eternal spirit of the Father, spirit of the Father, there's an eternal spirit of the Father, spirit of the Father. What might that be a reflection of? Well, it's like, well, there's you imitating your father, but your father imitated his father, and his father, and his father, and his father imitated his father. So in some sense, what your father actually imitated was the pattern of fathers across time. And you could think of the transcendent father as the pattern of fathers across time. When a child imitates his father in pretend play, when I'm pretending to be my father, I'm observing my father across multiple situations. And then I'm abstracting out the commonalities in behavior and attitude across those situations that make him father. And then I incorporate that and dramatize it in my pretend play. It's unbelievably sophisticated. And so it's what the child is doing in pretend play is coming to embody the disembodied spirit of the Father. There's an eternal spirit of the Father, spirit of the Father. There's an eternal spirit of the Father, spirit of the Father. There's an eternal spirit of the Father, spirit of the Father. There's an eternal spirit of the Father, spirit of the Father. And so you think, well, that is a disembodied spirit. It's a disembodied spirit that's incarnated in the collective of fathers across time. And what is that? Well, it's a judge, that's for sure. It's a judge. Even when you interact with the hierarchy of men who are currently alive, something can be abstracted out of that. It's like the patriarchal spirit. And if you don't think that's judging you, you are not thinking. It's absolutely judging you. That's what rank orders you in a hierarchy. There's an eternal spirit of the Father, spirit of the Father. There's an eternal spirit of the Father, spirit of the Father. There's an eternal spirit of the Father, spirit of the Father. There's an eternal spirit of the Father, spirit of the Father.
Pneumonia on my fist. Pneumonia on my fist.
We push technology to its furthest possible development. And we had, instead of a dial telephone on one's desk, a more complex system of buttons. And one touch, beep, would give you anything you want. Aladdin's lamp. You would eventually have to introduce a button labeled surprise.
Hey. Surprise. Surprise.
Because all perfectly known futures, as I pointed out, are past. They have happened. Virtually. It is only the true future is a surprise. It is only the true future is a surprise. So if you were God, you would say to yourself, man, get lost. And it's strange that this idea is obscurely embedded in the Christian tradition, when in the Epistle to the Philippians, St. Paul speaks of God the Son, the Logos, the Word of God, who is incarnate in Christ, and says, let this mind be in you which was also in Christ Jesus, who being in the form of God, thought not equality with God a thing to be clung to, but made himself of no reputation, and humbled himself, and was found in fashion as a man, and became obedient to death. Same idea. Same idea as the idea of the dream. That very far out dream. Same idea as the idea of the dream. That very far out dream. Same idea as the idea of the dream. That very far out dream. Same idea as the idea of the dream. Getting as extreme as you can get. As you can get. As you can get. And so this then is the basis of the Hindu view of the universe and of man. The Hindu looks upon the universe as a drama. The Westerner, of course, looks upon the universe as a construct, as something made. And it is not therefore insignificant that Jesus was the son of a carpenter.
Of course, that's a lot of what's celebrated symbolically at Christmas. The idea of the lights on the trees is the return of illumination, right? Because the sun is starting to come back. All these things are layered on top of one another. And so it's a remarkable. It's one of the things that's really made me so struck as a consequence of studying Christianity is that so many levels of meaning stack on top of one another in an isomorphic manner. And support one another. You know, there's a cosmic story that's associated with Christmas, which is the death and rebirth of the sun. I mean, the actual solar orb. And then there's the more prosaic story of the birth of a baby, which is, of course, a miraculous event in everyone's life. Everyone's life. Everyone's life. A miraculous event in everyone's life. Birth of a baby, which is, of course, a miraculous event in everyone's life. Everyone's life. Everyone's life. A miraculous event in everyone's life.
Levels of meaning.
of a baby, which is of course a miraculous event in everyone's life, everyone's life, everyone's life, a miraculous event in everyone's life.
So Christ is the eternal hope of mankind, just like an infant is the eternal hope of mankind. Well, he's born in lowly circumstances and in extreme peril, right? Because all the firstborns are under death sentence, essentially. And there's an archetypal element to that, too, which is really important to understand, which is that even if the hero is divine, he's always born in the extreme danger that characterizes existence itself. So in some sense, that balance between tragedy and catastrophe and tyranny and hope that typifies Christmas in reality for day-to-day people is also built right into the story. I mean, they're in a manger, for God's sake, right? It's a stable. And so it's pretty unstable. And there's the more prosaic story of the birth of a baby, which is of course a miraculous event in everyone's life, everyone's life, everyone's life, a miraculous event in everyone's life. Birth of a baby, which is of course a miraculous event in everyone's life, everyone's life, everyone's life, a miraculous event in everyone's life. Levels of meaning, stack on top
levels of meaning.
Birth of a baby, which is of course
a miraculous event in everyone's life, everyone's life, everyone's life, a miraculous event in everyone's life.
And then, of course, there's all these radical political events going on, and well, that's the way of mankind. Radical political and social events going on. And that's the way of mankind. So then there's the more prosaic story of the birth of a baby, which is of course a miraculous event in everyone's life, everyone's life, everyone's life, a miraculous event in everyone's life. Birth of a baby, which is of course a miraculous event in everyone's life, everyone's life, everyone's life, a miraculous event in everyone's life. Levels of meaning, stack on top of one another. Levels of meaning. Birth of a baby, which is of course a miraculous event in everyone's life, everyone's life, everyone's life, a miraculous event in everyone's life. Birth of a baby, which is of course a miraculous event in everyone's life, everyone's life, everyone's life, a miraculous event in everyone's life. Birth of a baby, which is of course a miraculous event in everyone's life, everyone's life, everyone's life, a miraculous event in everyone's life. Levels of meaning, levels of meaning. Birth of a baby, which is of course a miraculous event in everyone's life, everyone's life, everyone's life, a miraculous event in everyone's life. Merry Christmas. Yeah, beautiful, thank you. It's like a giant vacuum cleaner in some sense. It certainly integrated itself with and layered itself on top of existing pagan ceremonies, like the tree itself. The tree is a very interesting symbol because the tree is the tree in the Garden of Eden, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and the tree of life. The tree for Christmas is mostly the tree of life. And the tree is also the structure that unites heaven with earth. And the lights on the tree symbolize or represent even illumination and the reemergence of light in the darkness. In the darkness. Light in the darkness. A lot of that was extracted in some sense from the pagan symbolism that existed there prior to Christianity. I mean, the tree idea, for example, the idea that there's a tree that unites heaven and hell, which is sort of something akin to Jacob's ladder, is a central tenet of shamanism. And there are all sorts of strange shamanic echoes that permeate Christianity and the Christmas story. Like Santa Claus is a good example. There's very interesting documentation about the relationship between the red and white of Santa Claus, for example, and the use of Amanita muscaria mushrooms among the in the shamanic tradition. So yeah, it's a very, very deep and strange mixture of desert and frigid cold and celebration. And I guess that's also partly what's given it such longevity as a celebration, even though we also seem to be doing everything we can to undermine that as fast as possible. Light in the darkness.
Yeah, MAZ, make some noise to Terrence McKenna.
This is not a very scientific part of the rap because it's very hard to convince people that there are non-human intelligences this side of Genepel Ganubi. And when you tell them that these non-human intelligences are accessed through the diminutive mushrooms growing on their front lawn, they just write you off as a squirrel. But this question of the non-human intelligences is very, very much on the agenda. All shamans in all times and places have claimed this. The thing that so pleases me about DMT is, a lot of people will not take a psychedelic like LSD or psilocybin or something because it lasts hours and hours. Inevitably, a thing lasting that long, you're going to end up dealing with your stuff, your anxiety, your fear, your this and that. A lot of people don't care for that sort of thing. With DMT, it lasts 4 minutes. And so how lost in an examination of childhood trauma can you get in 4 minutes, especially when you have hundreds of elves tugging at your coat sleeves? It's really an incredibly powerful tool. We have the UFO people claiming there are non-human intelligences, but they have no reliable method of contact that works for a skeptic. The great thing about DMT is it doesn't require belief. The truth requires no belief. It is the truth. The truth requires no belief. It is the truth. This, to my mind, is the great and chilling mystery in the center of the psychedelics. And once you've encountered these things, you have to take them seriously. To the point of you have to understand, where do they fit into the great order of being? What are these things? How can there be a life form not made of matter? In other words, how can they be intelligent and coherent but have no fixed body outline? Is the universe in fact populated by non-human, non-material intelligences that we somehow contact using drugs? Where are they when you're not there? Is it an ongoing thing? Is something going on this planet? Are these the controllers? Are you getting into a back channel that you're not cleared for? Or, and this is to my mind the most chilling and appalling and exhilarating possibility of all, when you go back over the shamanism, you say, you shamans, now where is this all coming from? They will tell you it comes from ancestors. Well, that's a cheerful and fairly sanitized concept, but when you deconstruct it, ancestors are dead people. What is actually being suggested there is that there is a kind of ecology of souls, one energy threshold over, that is co-present with this world. Well, strangely enough, that's what the Irish myth of the Fae says. It says these are dead people. These are souls that linger in our environment, and this is what souls look like. Again, folklore is only a guide, but if what we are dabbling with, if what lies at the end of the road of shamanism is the dissolution of the boundary between life and death itself, then the million-year intuition that this was a path worth following will be dramatically vindicated.
Terrence! Hey! What up, MAZ? How you feeling? Happy Christmas. Whoa! Hey! Truth requires no belief by Joe. It is. Hey. Milk.
Now, there are all sorts of ways in which religious people try to explain that it can be done. I referred already to the grace of God. You say, no, you can't do the job yourself. Because the improving you is the one that needs to be improved. Therefore, you have to say, God, help me. Now, of course, that God exists is your opinion. That God will answer your prayer is your opinion. And your idea of God is your idea of God. If you bought somebody else's script, you bought it. Maybe your mother and father talked to you about God in a very impressive way. But basically, you bought their idea. And if you're a father yourself, I'm a grandfather now, I've got 5 grandchildren. And I know I'm as stupid as my own grandfather must have been. Yeah, I am one. I sit there in the position which they look at. Think, whoa, wowee, that's an important man. I know that, I'm just like anyone else. So, I hope my children are not believing things on my authority, because it's always their authority. If I look impressive and make big noises at them, they've just been taken in.
son of a zook! Mazlantus! This is Meaningwave Live. Heaven on earth. You get to consciously decide what has meaning. And what doesn't. Whoa!
This, I submit, is the freedom of real education. Of learning how to be well-adjusted. You get to consciously decide
what has meaning and what doesn't. What has meaning and what doesn't. You get to consciously decide what has meaning. 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 Oh!
you get to decide what to worship. Because here's something else that's weird but true. In the day-to-day trenches of adult life, there is actually no such thing as atheism. There is no such thing as not worshiping. Everybody worships. The only choice we get is what to worship. And a compelling reason for maybe choosing some sort of God or spiritual type thing to worship, be it JC or Allah, be it Yahweh or the Wiccan mother goddess, or the Four Noble Truths or some inviolable set of ethical principles, anything else you worship will eat you alive.
Little bit.
If you worship money and things, if they are where you tap real meaning in life, then you will never have enough. Never feel you have enough. It's the truth. Worship your own body and beauty and sexual allure, and you will always feel ugly. And when time and age start showing, you will die a million deaths before they finally plant you. On one level, we all know this stuff already. It's been codified as myths, proverbs, cliches, epigrams, parables. The skeleton of every great story. What has meaning? And what doesn't?
What has meaning? And what doesn't? You get to consciously decide what has meaning. What has meaning? What has meaning? What has meaning? What has meaning?
What has meaning?
What has meaning? What has meaning?
The whole trick is keeping the truth up front in daily consciousness. Worship power, you will end up feeling weak and afraid. And you will need ever more power over others to numb you to your own fear. Worship your intellect, being seen as smart, you will end up feeling stupid, a fraud, always on the verge of being found out. Look, the insidious thing about these forms of worship is not that they're evil or sinful. It is that they are unconscious. They are default settings. They're the kind of worship you just gradually slip into. Day after day, getting more and more selective about what you see and how you measure value without ever being fully aware that that's what you're doing. And the so-called real world will not discourage you from operating on your default settings. Because the so-called real world of men and money and power hums merrily along on the fuel of fear and anger and frustration and craving and the worship of self. Our own present culture has harnessed these forces in ways that have yielded extraordinary wealth and comfort and personal freedom. The freedom all to be lords of our own tiny skull-sized kingdoms, alone at the center of all creation. This kind of freedom has much to recommend it. But of course there are all different kinds of freedom, and the kind that is most precious you will not hear much talked about much in the great outside world of wanting and achieving and displaying. The really important kind of freedom involves attention and awareness and discipline, and being able truly to care about other people and to sacrifice for them over and over in myriad petty little unsexy ways every day. That is real freedom. That is being educated and understanding how to think. The alternative is unconsciousness, the default setting, the rat race, the constant gnawing sense of having had and lost some infinite thing. I know that this stuff probably doesn't sound fun and breezy or grandly inspirational the way a commencement speech is supposed to sound. What it is, as far as I can see, is the capital T truth with a whole lot of rhetorical niceties stripped away. You are, of course, free to think of it whatever you wish. But please don't just dismiss it as some finger-wagging Dr. Laura sermon. None of this stuff is really about morality, or religion, or dogma, or big fancy questions of life after death. The capital T truth is about life before death. It is about the real value of a real education, which has almost nothing to do with knowledge and everything to do with simple awareness. Awareness of what is so real and essential, so hidden in plain sight all around us all the time, that we have to keep reminding ourselves over and over, this is water. 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 It is unimaginably hard to do this. To stay conscious and alive in the adult world, day in and day out. Which means yet another grand cliche turns out to be true. Your education really is the job of a lifetime. And it commences now. What has meaning? And what doesn't? What has meaning?
What doesn't? You get to consciously decide.
What has meaning? 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 What has meaning?
You get to consciously decide. What has meaning? 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 You get to consciously decide. What has meaning? 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 You get to consciously decide. Go! This is Meaningwave Live. Heaven on earth. Amazing. Thank you for being here. That was the conclusion of the This Is Meaningwave Live series. We've been doing it every Monday for the past 5 weeks. That was number 5. Rewind through them and hear the glory. Check out the playlist. There's a playlist of these songs on Spotify and other platforms. The link is in the description. fanlink.to/thisismeaningwave.
It's a nice playlist, it's a beautiful playlist, it's an epic playlist. Add it to your library of joyful epic playlists today, Pageau. Whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa! Big shout out to everyone who's here. Shout out to everyone who supported. Thank you, Mike Bassars. Thank you, Red King. Shout out to new member Defcon 25 Blades. Pageau, you're in your. Kura, kura. Hey, 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 hey. Shout out to all the members of the channel. Shout out to everyone who supports by, streaming things, buying merch at meaningwave.com. Whatever thing they do to let the world know Meaningwave exists. Meaningwave exists. It do. Can't do nothing about that. And they try, but they can't do nothing about the fact that it exists and the fact that you know that already. You can't put that genie back in the bottle. It is out. Out of the bottle. Yeah. What a wonderful thing. Shouts out to everyone who's here. We'll be back tomorrow, same bad time, same bad channel, same meeting time, same meeting channel, 7 a.m. CT on Twitch, 7 p.m. on YouTube. Tomorrow, it's Tuesday. That means we're doing Meaning Crisis and Chill. We're live scoring Awakening from the Meanings Crisis, John Vivaki's Epic. And we're getting into that tomorrow. Tomorrow's deep, tomorrow's epic. It's going to be glorious. Make sure you're here. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. We're going to school. We're going deep. Like the abyss. Ow! Shouts out to everyone. What up, Adam? What up, Fuzzy Cheese? What up, Timmy Delgado? What up, Love Coach? What up, Bob B.O.B.? What XP? What has meaning? And what don't? You get to consciously decide. That's the lesson, baby. That's the lesson. That's the big, 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 big lesson. I mean, I'd say if you were just going to take away one thing, take that away. You get to consciously decide what has meaning and what doesn't. You. When I say you, I mean you, Adam. I mean you, Belvin RC. I mean you, Bob L. Fishman, D-Man, Fool Killer, Fuzzy Cheese, Calais, Love Coach, Matt Horse, Mason, Matthew Coat, Rum Jumper, Roberto Sanchez, Steve S, Summer Needles, Timothy Delgado, Toast 1012, Word XP, WMIV, Twitch Hero, Alex. All of y'all. That's who. You get to consciously decide what has meaning, and you, should you so wish to accept the challenge, get to consciously decide what's worth clipping. What's worth clipping, baby? Be a clipper. Be a clipper. This stream needs clipping. It has been decided. The people demand it. The people demand it. There's so much gold in these here streams. Nuggets, baby. Nuggets of gold. Lost in giant, beautiful, epic streams. Be the hero. Isolate the fragments that need taking out and uploading as separate videos on the second channel. Help with the mission of clipping today. Hit up Discord Hero Alex in the Discord. That's Twitch Hero Alex and YouTube Hero Alex. Clone. Him up, baby. Him up. And join the Clippers. Join them Wave Clippers today, baby. Join the Wave Clippers. Be a Clipper. Be a good one, you know. Whoa! Ow! Bop, bop, bop. Bob L. Fishman says, so I watch the night stream and the next afternoon I'll start time coding. Yo, time coders are epic too, baby. Time coders are so epic. If anyone wants to do some time coding, we'll add that stuff. We'll add that to the top comment. You know? Or we'll just pin it as the top comment. Be that time coder, baby. Be a good one. Blah. Boom. And with that in mind, you know, let us go forth and be mighty. Come join us tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. CT on Twitch. We have a party every day. That's how we start our day. We have an epic party on Twitch. This morning we were 90s and 90s adjacent. We had a 90s party. It was so fly. I just had a flashback to the morning. And I remembered. MCQ31MC. I am 200 million. Vamanos. Let's fucking go. Appreciate you, baby. Thank you for the support. And that beautiful message, which I enjoyed reading. There's something wonderful about the word Vamanos. Oh! Vamanos. You know, and that's what's up. Yo, what we doing tomorrow morning? I do wonder. I don't know. The thing about the morning show is I just wake up and like, that's however I'm feeling. That's how we get down. It's very exciting. Anyway. Yeah, thank you all for being here, of course. God bless each and every single one of you. It's a beautiful day to be here alive at the peak of recorded human civilization. We're just getting, we're in, what are we, the first 1 week into December? 3 weeks to 2020 left. What's going on, baby? What are we going to see? What miracles await us? Who knows? All I know is I'm glad to be here with you. Pageau. Shouts out to the Love Coach. Says, you are an emanation of God. God is good. You, therefore, are good. And that, baby, is math. That there is math. I told my son something very, very similar yesterday. That's real shit, Love Coach. God bless you. Thank you for being here. Thank you, each and every one of you for being here to bless this place with your wisdom, with your beauty, with your righteousness, with your glory, and with your presence, baby. The presence of you is a glory. What up, Bob L. Fishman? God bless you. Darwin, Darby, Volpack tomorrow morning. I don't even understand that sentence. Is that a football team? D-Man says good plus good equals better. Yo, good plus good equals M-A-Z, and that's what's up. And that's our show, baby. That was us. That was us at this moment in time, and it was a beautiful moment in time, and I'll remember it forever. What has meaning? Hey! What does it? Whoa! Whoa! What has meaning? Hey! What does it? You get to consciously decide what has meaning? 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 You get to consciously decide what has meaning? What has meaning? What has meaning? Yo! And what doesn't? You already know. 3, 2, 1. Bye. You already know, baby. You know what you are. Get in alignment with ultimate you, baby. Go for it. Be mighty.
You got to get after it.
I'll see you all very, very soon. God bless.